Hey everybody, Brian here with Jesus Uncomplicated, coming to you from the barn. I wanted to give you a scripture today. It's Matthew chapter 10, and let me find it. Matthew chapter 10, verses 26 through 31. So Jesus is talking to his disciples, and he's talking about the kind of persecution they're going to face. And when they go out and preach and teach about Jesus, what kind of response they're going to get from the public that doesn't necessarily want to hear about Jesus. And so he's basically preparing them for, you might be flogged in public, which means whipped. You might be ridiculed and put in jail, things like that. And we find later from the writings of Paul that, Christians did get put in jail. And Paul was one of the people that helped put him in jail before he was converted to Christianity. So Jesus, way back in the book of Matthew, is telling his disciples, things like this are going to happen. And then we see probably in 28, he said, "Don't be afraid of those who kill the body, but can't kill the soul. Be afraid of the one who can destroy both soul and body in hell. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? Yet not one of them will fall to the ground outside your Father's care. And even the very hairs of your head are all numbered. So don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows." And so I kind of wanted to address worry. And I know you're not necessarily being whipped for Jesus right now. You're not necessarily being ridiculed for speaking about Jesus, although some of you are. Some of you are worried about things that are on like a smaller scale. And I heard somebody last week say that, I pray for things. I pray for our country, and I pray for my family, and pray for health and things like that. But does God even care about like the little things, like, oh, I couldn't find my keys, or I screwed up the laundry and I put a red sock in and now my other socks are pink, that kind of thing? Does God even care about that stuff? And my response to that, I think, is yes, because it's not our job to tell God what to be concerned about. I think we would be surprised at the level of care and concern that God has for our lives, even the small stuff like our laundry or our keys. And so that just means if you feel like you want to pray about finding your keys, then by all means, pray about finding your keys, because the way I look at it is more prayer is not a bad thing. It can only help. And so if you're not praying enough, you'll notice it. If you're praying too much, well, that's not a thing. Praying too much isn't a thing. You can never pray too much. In fact, the Bible also says pray without ceasing, which means don't ever stop praying. Always be in an attitude where you can just talk to God. Always, have that line of communication open, because there isn't such a thing as ceasing, stopping prayer. It just means it doesn't have to be this formal thing where you turn off the lights and you go into a closet and you kneel down on a special curtain and you put a cushion and you put your hands together like this and say a bunch of special words. If you read the chapter of my book called Prayer is Awkward, the book is Jesus Uncomplicated, of course. The chapter is Prayer is Awkward. It just doesn't have to be a long, big, formal, fancy prayer. Just talk to God wherever you are. And he's concerned with the small stuff in our lives, just like he's concerned with the big stuff. Anyway, thanks for joining me on this latest video for Jesus Uncomplicated. Go ahead and subscribe. I don't know which direction in the video to point you to subscribe. Figure it out. I'm sure you will. You're smart. And go to jesusuncomplicated.com. Little sneak peek for you. I'm also working on another book. I'm not going to say too much about it yet, but if you follow me on social media, you might have heard little rumblings about what I'm working on. And I haven't done any sort of podcast lately in like months. And so if you have an idea for a podcast, or if you'd like to be on a podcast, let me know, and we'll see about that, getting that started up again. So that's it for now. And I'll see you next time. Have a great day.